Mic check, 1, 2, mic check. Am I getting signal? Yeah. Awesome. All righty. Hi, everybody. It's Winston with PerfecPressHTV.com. Today is our first ever live stream, so please forgive us if there's any like awkwardness or any like delays and stuff. We're going to be working on it and getting it better every time we do it. But today is our first one. We did a poll on Facebook asking y'all folks, what would you like to learn? And we did our 3 most popular things. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We have someone by the computer and we'll be relaying them back to us. And we're happy to answer anything that you ask, and we'll try to do our best to do examples for y'all. I have Ale here with me. Hey, Ale.
Hi, guys. I'm Ale from PerfecPressHTV.com, substo.
And yeah, we're ready to get started. Hey, Sarah, how many people does it seem that are viewing so far? 2, great. Awesome. So we're going to get started by just doing a simple t-shirt design. We're going to use a 3X shirt because I'm a big guy and I need a new t-shirt. And we're going to be doing a 3-layer design. We pre-cut it, but this layers we're going to be using is PerfecPress Soft in neon green, PerfecPress Flock in black, and PerfecPress Reflective in white. So a few things to know about before doing layers. When you're layering vinyl, it's very important to try to first to picture your design and see how it looks. What I like to personally do is I like to take my sheets and place them together. So let me put them down and kind of visualize what my design will look like before I press it on the t-shirt. The reason I do this is really just to fully make sure everything makes sense, everything looks right, before I go deep into making the actual t-shirt. So I line it all up like so. Sometimes it doesn't look like it'll perfectly line up, but if you designed it right, it should. Next thing we're going to do is cut out the excess and press it. So I'm going to pass these scissors to Ale. Here you go, ma'am.
Thank you.
And while she does that, I'm going to come over here to the heat press, and I want to talk about some heat press basics. For 90% of the vinyls that we sell here at PerfecPress HTV, you're going to be pressing them at 300 degrees for 15 seconds. Now, you can do a little bit hotter at 320. You could even go a little bit lower at like 290, 280. But really, we found that most of the vinyls we sell, 300 degrees works just fine at 15 seconds. Now, all the vinyls we're going to be messing with today are a mixture between cold peel, a hot peel, and a warm peel. So it's a great way to show off a little bit difference between these. When pressing a t-shirt, it's always best to tuck in your shirt. Lots of folks tend to like to take their heat press and lay it across the shirt, across the heat press like so. This works, but it's not the best option. For best long-lasting results on a heat press, you really want to take your shirt and try your best to tuck it in. Now, fortunately, today we're using the Hotronix Fusion press, which is a 16 by 20 heat press. And this heat press has a beautiful little slide out area that makes it very easy to tuck in a shirt. Other heat presses, this isn't as easy to do, but you will find if you can, try to press just the single layer of your shirt, you'll find your vinyl lasts longer and looks much better than it does without. So while she continues to cut out, get those ready, I'm going to just pre-press this just for about 5 seconds, get all the moisture and wrinkles out. So right now I'm using a pressure of 4, which is just fine. Some heat presses have pressure gauges, some do not. I'm going to tighten this up a little bit. And the point of a pressure gauge, if it has one, is just to tell you where you're at. But if you don't have a pressure gauge, do it by feel. The way I like to do it the best is I will take a piece of paper and stick it into the heat press and just slowly tighten it until I can no longer remove that paper once it's pressed down. That usually gets you the optimal pressure for a t-shirt. All right, I'm going to pass this off to Ale. Ale's going to press these layers for us. Woo! There we go.
All right, the way I like to press with the whitest first, the most bold font. And we're gonna do 3 fingers down from the shirt. And this is the reflective, so 300 for 10 seconds. Is there any specific ways you like to press it, Winston?
No, that's fine. So she's doing a little bit less time here because she's doing multiple layers. This is going to get hit multiple times, so you can do less time with it because it's still going to get the full heated time by the end of this. So there's her initial first layer, and she's peeling it away. And this is technically a warm peel. She didn't peel immediately away. She waited about 3 or 4 seconds before she's peeling this layer away.
And I'm gonna do flock last since it's more
Thicker.
So
when you're doing vinyl, it's important to try to always go from thin to thick. You'll get better results that way. What is the best practice for centering is a question we're being asked. So for centering, I find the best way to go, we sell a couple different toys and gizmos, but personally, I find the best thing to do when you're trying to center a design is to take the shirt, fold it in half, and do a quick press onto the shirt, leaving a line down the center. And then I like to take my fingers and do 3 finger lengths from the collar. That usually gets me the perfect chest size design. Now, if you have small hands, you might want to do a full 4 fingers on the design.
And now I'm pressing perfect press. So perfect press is 300 degrees to 10 to 15 seconds. And this is a hot peel.
So she can peel this one right away because that's a hot peel. And then the final layer is flock. And again, the reason we're trying to do flock as our final layer is because it is much thicker than soft and reflective. So that's flock. So flock's more of a warm to cool peel. So what Allie's doing, she's rubbing her shirt across that, trying to help pull some of the heat off. Also just being not exposed underneath that hot plan is going to help cool that down. If you try to pull flock before it's fully cooled down, it will pull up on you. It takes just a little bit for that adhesive to fully harden.
And now Winston has a new shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Bam.
Awesome. Thanks, Ale. So this is a really cool t-shirt. It's got reflective on it, so in a dark room, the white will reflect really bright. And then we got this really cool flock layer that gives it a sort of 3-dimensional, really nice textured feel and look. Real fun t-shirt right there. Thanks, Ale. All right, y'all. So next thing we're going to do is I want to heat up my heat press to 400 degrees, and we're going to do a little bit of talking about sublimation, but while that heats up, we're going to get into rhinestones for a little while. So let me set the temperature on this one to 400 degrees. So that's heating up. Let's go talk about some rhinestones. So before today, I went and had a rhinestone design cut out. I used a Graphtec CE7000 to cut this design out. Just a simple heart style design. And what we're going to do is we're going to just pour the rhinestones on it, and then we're going to use the rhinestone brush to sort of fill in the whole sort of design. So again, I'm going to switch this to Ale. She's going to show how to pour the rhinestones and sweep them in. And I'm going to get some better camera angles for all y'all.
So for the rhinestones, I like to pour it by section. It's literally by preference though, if you like to do it. And then now, this is the rhinestone brush, and I will be sweeping it in.
She likes to do like circular motions with that, right, Ale?
Yes, sir. Do you need a specific software to do rhinestones?
So there's a few different ways to go about doing rhinestones. They do sell on Etsy and some other websites SVG files that are pre-made with the rhinestone size and design. Those work great for Cricut because Cricut cutters do not actually have a rhinestone software. Cameo cutters, if you have the business edition, can do rhinestones. You can also purchase the business edition of the Cameo Silhouette software and then save the file as a SVG and upload that to Cricut and also do rhinestones in that way. Excuse me, y'all. And then the other way is you can purchase a different software. Surecuts a lot does rhinestones pretty decent. WinPC Sign, which we sell, does rhinestones really well. FlexiSign does rhinestones really great. So there's a lot of good options to do it. Most when you're starting off though, I try to tell folks, start off doing the business design or a business version. That tends to work really great. So you're just going to sweep in the stones, and essentially it's filling in all those little holes in the rhinestone template material. So rhinestone template material is sort of like a sticky flock, almost like our flock vinyl, but a sticker version. And this material, after you've cut it and pull out all the little holes, it allows you to sort of fall into the design. Then we get a very simple little trim brush from Home Depot. They cost like $2. I found that kind of brush works the best. I've tried a few different ones. And really that trim brush tends to be the best one out there. Now we also put that rhinestone template material on some backer boards so we can reuse that rhinestone design over and over again.
What if the brush isn't getting every little hole? Is there a specific tool that you can use to fill in?
There is a tool. There is a tool that we sell called the Rhinestone Pick-Me-Up tool. That is a special tool that allows you to grab them one at a time. It has a little of a putty side along with a more like a little stick side that helps you kind of move things around with the rhinestones, almost like chopsticks. Go grab me one.
A question we do get a lot is, do we do rhinestones for people designs?
Unfortunately, we don't do rhinestone designs for folks. It's not, rhinestones aren't quick. If we were to do rhinestone designs, it would honestly really bog down time-wise for us. It just isn't something we could get out in a reasonable time frame.
Do we have any questions from the chats?
Still waiting on that. Oh, Miss Mary Embroidery agrees that the trim brush is the best. I do agree too. All right, y'all, any questions from anyone while Ali fills this thing out? Rhinestone decal material, awesome. Yeah, rhinestone decal film is a really cool material. Let me actually go and grab us some while Ali works on this real quick, and I'll show it off.
Do we have any more questions that I can answer? So most of the time the brush will fill up most of the the little holes, but this is the pick-me-up tool that we do use to get those little things. Sometimes I just like using my finger, but this does help a lot to flip them if they're upside down. So, and here's Winston with the decal material.
We'll show off how to use that when she finishes the heart there. So while Ale does that, let me show off this Rhinestone pick-me-up tool. Sure I'm still going? Yeah. So the Rhinestone pick-me-up tool has a putty side that's right here. You spin this to push out more putty. And then this side right here, you pop this out. And for a rhinestone design, so like what Ale's doing, I can grab a design, one of the little rhinestones that I flipped over, and then use the putty to sort of flip it back. Well, it works in idea. Here we go. One there, and then we'll flip it back over. It's just a little helpful tool to help you grab the rhinestones that might be tricky to grab. It's a very handy tool. It's called the Rhinestone Pick-Me-Up Tool, and it's from Silhouette. And we have that at our online store. Awesome. So she's almost done with the design there. Let's talk about this decal film. So rhinestone decal film has two sides. You have a glossy side and then you have a matte side. The glossy side, when you press on this material, is going to be face down. And then, wait, actually I think I said that wrong. It's face up on the glossy side. Let me double confirm. Yeah, sorry y'all. So you're going to press on this material face up. So essentially what you're going to do, you're going to take your rhinestone design, after she's done with all this, instead of heat pressing it to a t-shirt, she's going to heat press it to the decal film. And then after it's heat pressed to the decal film, we're going to just cut out around it, and then it can work as a decal that will permanently stay on any sort of decal sort of environment. I put it on a car, I put it on windows, works great. So the hardest part about rhinestones is when you get to near the end, where you just have a few stones left and getting those all filled out. I found personally the best bet to do with those is just pour a whole bunch on that spot and just do little circles, and tends to fill it out. But it's always those last few stones they kind of have to manually put in. They're a little bit annoying, but you know, you get a beautiful rhinestone design after. Now another great option if you love rhinestones but don't like the tedious aspect of them is using our holographic vinyl. When it's cut with the same settings as rhinestones, you get a look that looks just like it from the distance. So y'all, for an example of that, here's a shirt we had made previously that utilizes rhinestones on the front, green rhinestones, and then on the back we have the holographic vinyl, a PerfecPress holographic vinyl cut with a rhinestone design. And as y'all can see, it is a very similar look. And honestly, the holographic one feels better and will last a lot longer on the shirt. Any questions or anything, y'all? 6 viewers. She's just finishing up the last little bits of that. Any questions about decal film or holographic vinyl? Or y'all just waiting for the sublimation? Awesome, you're almost there, Ale.
Almost.
So while Ale finishes that up, let's do some sublimation. My heat press is fully heated. Hey, Sarah, can you adjust the camera? So y'all, let's do some sublimation while Ale works on, finishes up that last bit of the rhinestone, and then we'll do a rhinestone decal film together. So for sublimation, let's talk about the basics. What is sublimation? Sublimation, when it comes down to it, is a dye transfer process. So what does that mean? To most folks, when I say that, all of a sudden their eyes glaze over and they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But what a dye transfer process means, it's the process of taking something and making it essentially darker than it currently is. So with sublimation, you will start, if you start with white, you're going to get full color, beautiful design. But if you start with like a black shirt, nothing's going to transfer over. You can't make black darker than it is. Same with like a dark navy. It's very hard to print on dark navy and make that actually show up. You can do light colors like a light pink or light blue, but you have no base to the design, so you're dyeing that light blue or light pink. So whatever color you put on it is going to have an overcast of a different shade on it. So say I'm printing a yellow design on a light blue shirt, it's going to look green. Or if I print a red design on a blue shirt, it's going to come out kind of purple looking. Also, sublimation is a process that really works best on polyester. So why that is because polyester at 400 degrees, the molecules become really wide. And then the ink from sublimation becomes a gas at 400 degrees. And that gas is heavier than air. So that gas is going to fall down in between those molecules on the polyester and permanently bind to it. We'll talk about that in a moment. So the way the polyester, the ink will fall down in between the polyester and permanently bind to it, and when you remove it from heat, it's going to be permanently like that and will stay vibrant for the life of the garment and will not fade. But that's only on polyester. If you were to try that on cotton, what happens at about 375 degrees with cotton is cotton, instead of expanding, actually gets smaller and starts to burn and turn yellow. The ink will fall and lay on top of the cotton, but will not embed into the fabric. Within 4 or 5 washes, it'll begin to fully wash away from the garment. Now, you can do sublimation on blends. You can do it on a 50, as long as there's 50% polyester or better, it tends to work pretty all right, but it's going to look like there's literally only 50% of the print on there because it's only binding to the polyester part of the print. So when you do a 50-50 cotton polyester shirt, it kind of has a vintage look or a more faded style look. The higher percentage of polyester you go, the more vibrant it's going to be. Hey, can one of you all please grab us a heat press pillow? The 16 by 20 big one. So what I'm going to do is I have a 100% white polyester t-shirt here, and we're going to heat press it at 400 degrees to do some sublimation. Now, with polyester, polyester is a fabric that has memory to it, meaning anything that you do with heat to kind of abuse the fabric, it tends to remember. So if I was to stick this in just like a t-shirt and tuck it in and press it like normal, what could happen with the polyester if I was to do it that way, like this? It would leave strong lines on the edges and kind of have a box. You've probably seen it before, a strong box around the whole entire shirt from having too much pressure with sublimation. The way to get around that is to use a heat press pillow. So what this does is allows the edges of the heat press to kind of slope a little bit so you don't get those strong lines in the shirt. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 100% polyester shirt, and this shirt we got from Alpha Broder, a nearby vendor, and it's a Team 365 100% polyester t-shirt. Kind of a sportswear sort of feeling style shirt. So I want to take the shirt, we're going to put it in the pillow, and you're just going to put it in the pillow inside the shirt like so. And this pillow is really great. Heat press pillows, not only for sublimation, are excellent. It keeps the print from bleeding through. It keeps you from having strong lines. It also on top of all that, if you have a shirt with buttons or zippers or anything that's causing any uneven pressure, a pillow will solve all that issue, allowing the button or zipper to push down while the rest of the garment will push back and giving you solid pressure. So we're going to take our sublimation shirt, we're going to put it on our heat press, make sure it all looks nice and straight, nice and clean. And then I'm going to stick it in and just give it a few seconds of press to kind of get some of the wrinkles and moisture out. We're in Atlanta, as some of y'all know, and it can be pretty humid around here, so you want to just make sure you get a little bit of that excess moisture away. And literally, I did that for like 2 seconds. You don't have to do it long. If it looks flat and ironed, you're good to go. So for my printout, today we printed from the Sawgrass SG1000 printer using Sawgrass Sublimation inks, printing on the TexPrint R paper, and we printed a nice little picture here of Jimi Hendrix, found nice on Google. When you're trying to choose images to print, you want to make sure that you have high pixels. When you're on Google Images or DuckDuckGo Images or Ask Jeeves and you're looking at images, you'll see in the bottom corner little numbers. You'll see like 600 by 300 or 2000 by 1000. Those are telling you the pixel size of the image. The bigger the pixel size, the better your image will look once printed. Oh, that looks great, Ali. Example, if you have something that's 300 pixels by 300 pixels, at best, when it's printed, it'll only look good up to about an inch. Anytime you go past that, it's going to look bad. It's going to look pixelated. And here's the thing, most folks don't understand this. Your computer screen and your cell phone projects an image at only 72 pixels an inch. For something to print smooth, to look like a photograph, to look like a readable thing, it needs to print at 300 pixels an inch. So what you've seen on your phone is only 72, but what you want printed is going to be at least 300. So when you're choosing images, you want to choose as high as pixels as possible. Usually you want to try to find images that are 1000 by 1000 or better in their pixel range. Unfortunately for this Jimi Hendrix, I couldn't find a really high resolution photo. This one was right at like 900 by 800. So if you look real close to it, you kind of get a slight little pixelization, but it's a vintage style looking photo, so it should be all right. So what we're going to do now, we have our heat press at 400 degrees, and we're going to just lay our sublimation sheet onto the shirt. Some folks like to use tape to hold it down. Some folks like to use spray adhesive to hold it down. If you use spray adhesive, I don't personally recommend it. But if you do want to use it, you would spray it from a far distance so it lightly coats the shirt to hold it down instead of doing it up close. If you do it up close, it'll do something I call pitting, where the glue has built up and puts little dots on your design. Do you like to press this, Ali?
Sure.
So Ali's going to press this shirt. Now, a trick that we like to do here is we like to press our sublimation shirts with as little pressure as possible. A great thing about the Stahl's Hotronics Fusion heat press is that you could literally just lay the heat press on top of the design and get perfect pressure for t-shirt sublimation. Now, for some of the other style sublimation out there, you do want more pressure. But for t-shirts, just laying it across works perfect. And again, for sublimation, we're going to do it for 400 degrees for 60 seconds. Ali?
So I'll be setting my timer for 60 seconds because it's not going to count down since I am not clamping it. So 1 minute. And does anybody have questions on sublimation that we can answer for you? That's exactly what I was thinking of, like we need some background music.
So we got about 20 seconds left on that print. Now, let's say you don't have this style heat press that can just lay on top of your design. You can lock it down. Just make sure you get your pressure where it's just minimal, where it's just making contact, not really pressure. You'll find your shirts turn out really great that way. 6 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1, boom. See all that popping out? That's steam from the ink. All that little steam coming off. We're going to take our design. Now, something you want to be careful, when you're pulling your sublimation design off, when it's still hot, don't try to smear it across your design. You want to lift straight up, like so. If you pull directly across, you have a chance with the ink still being hot to smear the design across the t-shirt. But look how awesome this turned out. I was a little worried because it wasn't the highest resolution photo out there. Look at this beautiful Jimi Hendrix print. Real nice. Good job, Ale.
Wow, 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 wow.
So let's go back to the rhinestones since Ale finished her design. Can you all adjust the camera to show this? Howdy, y'all.
You moved my rhinestone.
No! We moved some rhinestones.
Unbelievable.
It'll be okay. Okay, so with the rhinestone decal film, that's this material right here. You want to have it face up. You want to set your heat press to between 320 and 350 degrees. And that's not an exact number. You can do it anywhere in that range, and the rhinestones tend to work just fine. I've done them, honestly, all over the place temperature-wise, and they tend to work just fine. We're going to take our rhinestone transfer tape first, and we're going to place it on our rhinestone design. So transfer tape, you just pull out. Personally, I found it's easiest when you're doing rhinestone style transfers, start with a U and do one solid motion. Don't get scared and just follow through. If you stop, you can mess up your design and make it all awkward. Like so. Then you want to use a squeegee or something to squeegee down the design to make sure all the rhinestones are really nicely placed on there. We're grabbing one of our squeegees. I don't know where it just went. And I guess our squeegee is missing. So I'm going to use the back of a cell phone and just press onto this. This works fine too. I'm just making sure all the rhinestones are solidly on there. Pressing, pressing, pressing. Anything flat and smooth should help. You can even use like the back of a mug if you wanted to. Like so. Press, press, press. Oh look, a squeegee arrived. Thanks, Ale. So the squeegee. Press, press, press. Make sure it's on there nice and good. Do it every which direction. You can't squeegee it too much. You want to make sure it's strongly on there. Once it's on there, you can hold it like this, move it around, and put it on what you need. We're going to take our decal film. We're going to place it. There's two sides, matte and glossy side. We're going to place glossy side up on our heat press. We're going to take our rhinestone design and we're going to remove it from the backer board. Just real carefully lift it. If you lift too fast, sometimes it'll leave stones behind, and if it does leave stones behind, just go back, press on them, and it should stick back to it. Now this is the tricky part. Try to make sure you don't stick the design on itself. Sometimes I wish I had 3 hands. Woo! So here's our rhinestone design. Whoa! And we're going to take it over to our decal film. Very careful not to let it stick to itself. And we're going to lay it on our decal film. Like so. Can you all zoom in on this? Now it's on our decal film. I'm going to squeegee it once more. Once on the decal film, make sure everything's nice and smooth on there. Our heat press is hanging out around 360 right now. A little hot, but it won't damage anything, so it'll be fine to go. I am going to raise the time. We're going to press it about 25 seconds. I always do a little bit longer on rhinestones. Technically, they'll work at 15 seconds, but I found a little bit longer tends to work a little better on our rhinestones. All right, y'all. I'm now going to press our rhinestones on the decal film for about 25 seconds. And you want to add a firmer pressure to that. That felt pretty weak, so I'm going to add a few good turns to it. And the reason for a firm pressure is just to make sure it really sticks on that decal film. We gotta get a sample of that.
We do a Jeopardy song.
All right, y'all. Woo. Maybe it was still a bit too hot. So we're going to peel now away our rhinestone transfer tape. Wait, what? That didn't work right. Oh, it's still sticking. Ew. Well, let that cool down for a second. Oh, no. I have a feeling our heat press maybe was a bit too hot and didn't fully get down to temperature right. Yep. We're going to just let that sit for a second, cool down. So don't overheat it. We press at 360. Really, 350, 325 range will work better on that. Let's pull that now. It's cooled a bit. Oof. That's not the way we want it. Yeah. So we get rid of that transfer tape. Don't need it no more. I know it looks ugly right now, but we can save it. So what you do after this step, you're going to take your scissors and cut out all the excess. Cut out all this little excess that we don't need around the design. Now this does not work in a vinyl cutter. I tried to cut out the excess around it with a vinyl cutter. Because of the rhinestones, it just makes it really hard and difficult to plan out very well, and it's nearly impossible with a craft cutter. If you have a more professional grade cutter, you might be able to do it, but honestly, it's quite a bit easier to do it with scissors. Awesome. So we get rid of that excess. And now we have a decal we can peel from here. So you want to just peel it like it is a sticker. Like so. Woo. Here we go. And now we got a rhinestone decal that you can just stick to stuff. Let's stick it right here for now.
Aww.
A little heart up here. So rhinestone decal film is also really cool because our glitter HTV will also work on that. So I'll probably do an example next Wednesday on that for all y'all. So we're nearing our end. Is there any questions for any of these three techniques we showed today? No questions, y'all? Alrighty. Well, here's what we have coming up. On Monday, we're going to go a little in depth with the cameo silhouette and show some tips and tricks with cameo silhouette. This upcoming Wednesday, I want to show some glitter tricks, some different things like sublimation on glitter. I want to show you how to do rhinestone decal film on glitter. And next Friday, I'm going to keep it open, do another poll on Facebook and see what y'all folks want to learn more about. Feel free to message us with any questions you have. Happy to always answer. And give us suggestions. Tell us what you all want to see. We're here to do this for all you and make a great content for you people.
And don't forget to follow us on TikTok at PerfecPress HTV, on Instagram at Perfect